Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2014 Pokemon Trading Card Game United States National Championship Finals in the Senior Division. I am host Wade Crimson-Rohano, here with Kyle Pukasukovic, and we are proud to bring you guys Ishaan Jagiasi against Jeremiah Williams.
Absolutely, this should be an incredible finals matchup between two up-and-coming rising stars in this game. These two battled this is the third day we're here at the National Championships, and we have two unique decks, so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen.
So am I, so let's just throw it up to the stage and see what happens really soon.
All right, everybody. How's it going, Pokemon fans? We have got ourselves the Senior Championships for the Nationals 2014 US Trading Card Game. To my left, we've got Ishaan Jagiasi. To my right, we've got Jeremiah Williams. And here it is, all the marbles. Who will be the national champion? Let them decide. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, Josh. And I guess we're getting ready. They're starting to shuffle up. They're going to start dealing out their 7-card hand, and we're going to cut right to the match as soon as we can. In the meantime, let's talk about the deck style. We have Ishaan playing the Empoleon deck that we really haven't seen this tournament against Yveltal, pretty much the Pokemon of this national championships.
Yeah, we have a real contrast in styles here. Jeremiah is going for a very simple, straightforward deck with these big, basic Pokemon. The Yveltal EX, the Darkrai EX that we've seen so much here in the Pokemon TCG for the past few years, going up against good old Stage 2 Pokemon. We're going back to the evolutions. We have Empoleon, we have Dusknoir, and we also have Miltank.
Yes, we do. Miltank, with his powerful Friends ability, or attack, is kind of like a surprise Pokemon that I'm sure not everybody saw coming, but I mean, it's a really strong attack, and it deals 80 damage for 1 energy. What more can you want?
Yeah, for Jeremiah, it's going to be all about quick knockouts, putting on pressure with those big, bad Pokemon EX. The Yveltal EX can do Evil Balls so quickly, and for Ishaan, it's going to be all about efficiency. Empoleon attacks for 1 energy. Miltank attacks for 1 energy, and they always do high amounts of damage. Miltank does 80 damage for 1 energy when it has a Stage 2 Pokemon on the bench. Empoleon can hit for up to 120 damage with Attack Command, and he's going to try to move all that damage around with Dusknoir's Sinister Hand to just take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, now we do see that the Empoleon deck, it's a deck with 2 Stage 2s, right? So it's obviously naturally going to be a lot slower. It's going to take a little bit longer to really get going, as opposed to the Yveltal deck, which, it has Dark Patch to speed up its already fast attack.
Right, Jeremiah's deck is all basic Pokemon. He has absolutely no evolution cards at all. And, Ishaan's deck has 2 different Stage 2 lines, like you said. So he's going to be a little bit slower. He's going to rely on that Tropical Beach to set up a little bit. But once he does, his deck's going to get going.
All right, well, speaking of getting going, it looks like we're about to get going ourselves. And I'm really excited to see what happens in this Game 1. I think this Game 1 is going to be extremely pivotal. And whoever wins this, obviously they're going to have an advantage, right? But not only that, but they're going to really control the momentum of this game. And I expect for the Yveltal deck to really start attacking as early as turn 2. And if it does that and gets enough pressure on the Empoleon deck, and the Empoleon deck can't keep up, then that's going to be the story of our match here.
Yeah, now it looks like Ishaan is going first, and he starts off with that Miltank, plays the level ball for the Piplup, so a very strong opening right now. Plays the Skylar for the level ball. That indicates not only does he have that Piplup down, but he's going to have a strong hand. Otherwise, he probably would have gone for something like a Tropical Beach.
We see an Ultra Ball coming down from Jeremiah here. Jeremiah is going to want to get his Yveltal into play as soon as possible. He doesn't play any evolutions. He doesn't play things like Garbodor, which are natural pairs for Yveltal currently. So I'm not sure how he's going to fare against the Empoleon deck once it finally gets going. So I really like this start for Ishaan. I like the fact that he's got both basics already in play, and he can theoretically get both into play as early as turn 2, both evolutions in play.
Yeah, now we do see Absol as the starting Pokemon for Jeremiah. This could be a big attacker in this matchup, since Empoleon is normally a deck that likes to fill up its bench. Absol has Mind Jack, does 20 plus 20 for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so we can see it hit for 120 damage against an opponent's full bench. And with that Muscle Band, 140 can knock out even the biggest Pokemon in Ishaan's deck, Empoleon.
Exactly. This N, I like the fact that he's playing the N, right? He's going to be the aggressor. He's going to be playing, he wants to get rid of his Ns early. But at the same time, you don't really want to give your opponent a 6-card hand, or a new 6-card hand this early on, especially when he's already got both basics in place. So, and it looks like we see a rare candy here for Ishaan, and a Dusknoir. So we're going to see at least a Dusknoir come into play, and hopefully an Empoleon for him as well.
Yeah, we thought Ishaan's hand might be pretty strong since he did Skylar for that level ball right away. So the end, not so bad there, and he may have just had to play. May have been his only supporter. But we have a very strong start from Jeremiah as well, getting the Dark Patch onto the Darkrai EX. And it does seem like he's favoring Darkrai over Yveltal in this matchup.
We saw a Hypnotoxic Laser right now. That's pretty much been a trainer that we've seen, I mean, pretty much every matchup, I believe. The fact that he got Tails isn't all that relevant because he still gets the poison damage on. If he can get a Burbank City Gym in play, then he'll really start being able to pile on the damage as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Now, we did see a couple bicycles there. Jeremiah was able to draw a couple more cards there, but that's going to be the end of his first turn. But here we go. Rare Candy Dusknoir, the first Stage 2 Pokemon, has hit the field.
Yes, it has. We see a second Miltank come down as well as another Piplup. We want to see how many Empoleons do we really want to see him play?
As many as you can get, honestly. There's no downside to having more Empoleon in play. It looks like he's just going to say, you know what, I have a Dusknoir, let's just go ahead and get that out. I need it eventually. And then we're going to see a Colress here for 6 cards.
Yeah, this Colress it's relatively strong, right? It can get you up to 10 cards, but you'll take 6 in this situation. And he's really looking for a Rare Candy and an Empoleon here.
Yeah. Now, he doesn't mind too much since he did go first. And actually, he's going to get the first knockout here. This is going to be an extremely strong start for Ishaan. He does have the Stage 2 Pokemon on the bench, even though it's Dusknoir, not the Empoleon he would have wanted. Now, Powerful Friends will be doing 80 damage, plus 20 for that Muscle Band. That'll be a quick knockout on that Absol.
Yeah, he didn't get the Empoleon into play, but he at least gets a Prinplup here with this other level ball. And I mean, I'm not feeling too bad for Ishaan that he didn't get the Empoleon because he's still going to get the very first knockout of the game. Down goes Absol, and we take a quick prize lead for Ishaan. This is not really what I expected here.
No, not at all. You would definitely expect the deck with all basic Pokemon to be the aggressor here, but this is what Miltank can offer you. Just a quick turn to attack, and man, his friends must be pretty powerful.
On the other hand, though, I do see a Sableye getting powered up. That really melts my heart because, as I'm sure you know, Sableye has been my favorite Pokemon for a couple of years now because of its Junk Hunt attack and how unique and strong it truly is.
Looks like he's not long for this world. Just a Junk Hunt from Jeremiah, not a great hand, and we're going to see another victim to Miltank.
Well, the Miltank is very powerful, and it's got powerful friends to go with it. We actually see a Lysander, though, and it's going to activate the Darkrai EX, so maybe Sableye does have a second life coming.
I guess so. That was a very cool play from Ishaan. He's going with the Lysander onto the Darkrai, knowing he has his Dusknoir in play. If he knocks out the Sableye, there won't be any damage left for him in play to move around with Sinister Hand. If he goes after that Darkrai EX, all of a sudden there's 100 damage on board for him to play with.
Yes, there is. Now, we see an Yveltal come down for Jeremiah, and I mean, he lowers his hand down to, I believe, 2 cards or 1 card in order to be able to bite for as many cards as he possibly can. He's really looking for a way out here, right? Like, he's in bad shape. This is obvious. And the fact that Darkrai's Dark Cloak lets him retreat for free is really cool for him because he's going to at least be able to retreat and, you know, get the Darkrai out of harm's way, except for the fact that obviously there's a Dusknoir in play.
Right. Now, he does get the Oblivion Wing for the knockout. The poison damage finishes off that Miltank. And now Ishaan's going to have to respond here. He's going to need to get an Empoleon sometime soon. He needs that in order to just, you know, keep his attackers going. Of course, Empoleon has that great ability, Diving Draw, that allows you to draw extra cards every turn. So hopefully he'll get that out soon.
We see an Ultra Ball in his hand, so he can definitely get it into play this turn if he'd like. It looks like he's going to be going for this Ultra Ball. I would like to see it too, obviously, because you really want to take advantage of the Diving Draw as soon as you possibly can. It's an effect that really stacks as the longer you have it in play. So we see an Ultra Ball. I'm sure it's going for the Empoleon here.
Yeah, now an interesting combo we have with this deck. I don't think Ishaan has it in his hand right now, but Empoleon uses Diving Draw. It has to discard a card to draw 2 cards. So you actually play Execute. It has the ability Propagation, which allows you to take it out of the discard pile. So every turn, it's basically a free 2 cards. So he's going to be looking for that Execute now so that he can just freely draw 2 extra cards every turn with Diving Draw.
You're right. He truly is. But at the same time, right now, he's not really worried, like you said earlier. He's got the Miltanks really starting to get going for him. The Powerful Friends attack is just so much damage, and the fact that he gets to move the damage counters around with Sinister Hand really lets him dictate the pace of play. So he just deals 80 damage here, and he's content to just pass the turn.
Yeah, that regular Yveltal there, it's not a big threat, but that Pokemon catcher certainly could be.
It is ahead, so he does actually get the fact he gets to activate the Dusknoir, and now if he can knock it out somehow, he'll be able to put himself back into this game.
Absolutely. Dusknoir is a huge card in this matchup. Dusknoir is basically always huge. So Jeremiah says, you know what, I'm going to play that Pokemon catcher, bring that out. It is weak to darkness, so Darkrai can Night Spear, knock it out, and do 30 damage to a bench Pokemon. A very strong play.
Yes, it is. He does have a Duskull in play, so all is not lost. If he can get another Dusknoir in play, then he'll still be fine. But he needs to get another Dusknoir in play. Otherwise, these damage counters, which are spread out, are actually going to be a negative effect for him instead of a positive effect.
Well, he intelligently did leave 100 damage on that Darkrai EX just in case Dusknoir did go down. Now he can just Powerful Friends for 80, finish off that Darkrai, and even though that was a big turn for Jeremiah, he's going to be left with just that Yveltal and a Sableye and no other energy in play with a Miltank knocking on his door.
Luckily for him, the Evoltol will allow him to kind of catch up in energies again, but obviously this is going to be a big hit.
Absolutely. So we do see an N here. Ishaan's going to draw 5 cards. Jeremiah will draw 4, and we'll have to see. Will he use Diving Draw this turn? He didn't use it the last turn, and once again, he's going to decide not to do that.
I'm not exactly sure why he hasn't been doing this, but I mean, I would really like to see him start drawing extra cards. He wants to get multiple Empoleons in play. If his opponent somehow gets another Lysander or another effect in order to get the Empoleon into the active position, then I mean, we could see this game turn around, or even forget the Empoleon, the Duskull here.
Right. The thing is, Diving Draw is pretty costly sometimes. You do have to discard a card, so if there's just cards you don't want to get rid of, hey, maybe it's better to just hold on to them for later instead of trying to draw something with those 2 cards.
Yes, there is. We see a Professor's Letter here from Jeremiah, and he gets 2 Darkness energies from his deck, so he's going to be able to attach energies at will whenever he'd like. Also, he can discard he can send them to the discard pile in order to be able to Dark Patch them into play.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, that Mill Tank is doing 80 damage every turn, so that Sableye is under a lot of pressure. We'll have to see. I mean, Jeremiah, once again, seems like he doesn't have much going on in his hand. We just see that Keldeo EX and a couple Darkness Energy, so this Junk Hunt may be his only way out.
Ishaan spared the Sableye last time. I wonder if he's going to be able to get another free Junk Hunt and spare it again. If he does, then, I mean, really the Junk Hunt's what's going to be able to get him back into the game, right? The Junk Hunt, I mean, we've seen his hand. We've seen how bad his hand is. He needs the Junk Hunt here. He needs to try to get himself back into the game through just trainers alone. I mean, I'm expecting to see a Bicycle here and, I don't know, maybe an Ultra Ball or something. Oh, Dark Patch.
Yeah, looks like he's going to recover those 2 item cards with that Junk Hunt attack. But this will give the Ishaan the opportunity to use Powerful Friends and go down to 2 prizes, and that means just 1 more Pokemon EX knockout, and he could win the game.
We do see a Diving Draw here, so he's taking advantage of this of the ability now, and he wants to get multiple Empoleons in play here. That's his main goal right now, just get as many Empoleons in play as well as a new Dusknoir.
Absolutely. So we're going to see what else is he going to do here. He has a full bench of Pokemon. It almost seems like he doesn't have a whole lot else he can do this turn. We do see that Dowsing Machine A-Spec card in his hand. If he wants to, he can discard 2 cards to get back a trainer card, but is there anything he really wants right now?
Yeah, I think he still needs the Dusknoir in play. Well, he's going for a Dowsing Machine, so I guess we're going to find out, right, what he's going to go for. But I really would like to see a Dusknoir come to play as soon as possible. I'm not sure if he's got the resources or not, but that's what I would hope to see.
We do see Dowsing Machine for Rare Candy and another Empoleon coming into play. I think he's just getting prepared. He knows I'm going down to 2 prizes, so N is starting to become a threat. I want to have those multiple Empoleon in play to have access to extra cards in case I'm put down to a low hand size.
Sableye did indeed go down, so he is now down to 2 prizes, Ishaan is, and we actually saw a Juniper come into his hand from the prizes. So his hand was down to a single card. It was a lowly switch, but this Juniper that he just talked back from the prizes is going to really breathe fresh new life into his hand.
Yeah, no. Jeremiah here, I guess his only option here is to attack with that Evoltol EX. You know, you're knocking down these Miltank, but they're only 1 prize each. But here is another Pokemon Catcher.
Pokemon Catcher gives him another heads here, so he's going to be able to activate any Pokemon that he'd like, and he's going for the Empoleon here.
All right, what do you think about that play? He could either go for Duskull or an Empoleon. He decides to go for that Empoleon.
I really feel like he's got his back against the wall here no matter what he does. I'm okay with the Empoleon. I would have personally preferred the Duskull. Just get rid of that Dusknoir threat for the rest of the game. It's already a long shot to win this game, so you might as well try to, kind of angle shoot here.
All right, so we do see that Hypnotoxic Laser, and the Evoltol EX will come out. It has enough energy to Evil Ball for 100 damage, and then the 10 damage from the poison between turns will finish off that Empoleon, and now it's up to Ishaan to pull something off here.
We have a single Empoleon in play for Ishaan. That's his only Stage 2 evolution, but we do see a Juniper, and let's see if he top decks another Stage 2.
He looks like a very strong hand. I saw an Ultra Ball and a Rare Candy, so if he wants to, he can get that Dusknoir out this turn. Problem is, even if he gets it out, he can't really win this turn without a Muscle Band to add that additional damage. The most he can do right now is 80 with that Miltank.
Yeah, he will have 160 damage, or 16 counters, let's just put it that way. He'll have 16 counters in place, so he'll be able to move him anywhere he'd like. It's not quite enough to knock out any Pokemon, but, I mean, still. I'd take 16 counters over a pitiful 8 any day.
Now, something we did notice was that the other Dusknoir is actually in his discard pile, so that Super Rod allowed him to shuffle in Dusknoir, so now he'll have access to it once again. Without that Super Rod, he would have been out of options to use that Dusknoir, but he gets it right back.
Yeah, so now he's Ultra Balling for what I'm assuming is going to be the Dusknoir, and we're gonna see if that's going to be enough to really secure this game for him.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking at that Dusknoir, and that's exactly what he's going to go for. Now, this can be a little dangerous if he gets that Dusknoir into play. It does have that high 3 retreat cost, so if a Pokemon catcher did bring it into the active spot, we could see a situation where it just couldn't retreat, and then Ishaan would lose by decking out. I've seen that situation come up a few times, so it is a bit of a risk to get that Dusknoir in play right now, but it's probably better to do it now before an N could happen.
Yeah, the N is really strong in this part of the game. The fact that he's going to go down to the 2-card hand, and I mean, diving draw is strong, don't get me wrong, but it's still only 2 extra cards. It's not it's not a game-breaking ability here.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like he is going to move 2 damage counters to the active with that Sinister Hand ability. Looks like he's just moving some damage around, maybe in fear of a card like Max Potion that could heal the damage off of his board. And there's another Powerful Friends for 80 damage.
Yeah, that is now 100 damage on this Yveltal here. What's Jeremiah got to do to really get back into this game?
Boy, it's tough. It looks like almost all of his attackers are EX Pokemon. This turn, he really needs to hit that Pokemon catcher and take away Dusknoir. If he can do that and perhaps attack with that Darkrai EX, that's the only thing that can really buy him time at this point. What else can he do? Dusknoir's Sinister Hand just moves damage to a Pokemon EX that comes out, and then Miltank finishes it off.
We see an N now. It's going to shuffle their hands, both of their hands into their decks, and Ishaan's going to get 2 new cards. Jeremiah's going to get 3. It's not very many cards, but he's got to find this Pokemon catcher, right?
Absolutely. That's the one card he needs here. He needs to get a Pokemon catcher. He needs to flip heads. Otherwise, Miltank will take down one more Pokemon EX.
He's
and it looks like
twice.
The writing's on the wall. There is a Pokemon catcher, though.
There it is, Pokemon catcher here.
This is a big one.
Oh!
Off the table.
The suspense is killing me.
Oh,
it looks like a Tails. Ishaan kind of just, he's so happy right now.
He dodges one there. Looks like the Dusknoir is safe for now. He's probably thankful that there was an errata Pokemon catcher that does require a coin flip now. And now Jeremiah is just going to have to throw up that regular Yveltal. It's a non-EX Pokemon and say, all right, I'm just going to use Oblivion Wing for 50 and see what we can do.
All right, so the Oblivion Wing for 50 does put him in a really tough spot, in my opinion. I'm not really sure what he's going to be able to do now since there's so much damage already in play against him, and you're only going to see more.
Yeah. Now we do see a diving draw, discarding that Skylet to draw 2 cards here. You got to wonder what Ishaan's even trying to dig for here. It looks like he does have an N that he's going to play, maybe to try to disrupt Jeremiah a little bit. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what he's going for. I suppose a Muscle Band could be useful.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to disrupt Jeremiah a little bit. I think that's what's going on. I'm not sure how effective that's going to be, but in reality, he's the one that's got the inevitability in play, right? He's got the Dusknoir, he's got the damage counters in play, he's got the Empoleon. I mean, he's really got everything going on for him. And I mean, not to mention the Miltank, which deals 80 damage for 1 energy, right?
Right. It does seem like the writing is on the wall at this point. That Pokemon catcher was the difference between a win and a loss at this point. We will see Sinister Hand moving some more damage around. You can see just how awesome Dusknoir is with that ability. One of the strongest abilities in the game, and we're just going to see a knockout there on that regular Yveltal, down to 1 prize for Ishaan.
Yeah, I mean, we see the single prize for Ishaan, but in reality, I mean, he's going to have to get through an EX, right? I don't think there's any chance that Jeremiah is going to play a non-EX anymore, so he's going to have to take 2 additional prizes to win the game, so it's kind of like a 7th prize.
Right, but at this point, look at how much damage is on the field. There's 110 damage total, so no matter what comes up, it looks like Ishaan should just finish it off with that next Miltank waiting on the bench. Just use Sinister Hand, move all the damage to the active, and he should be able to clear the game next turn.
Yeah, we're going to have to see a Pokemon catcher here, and I mean, does he even have any Pokemon catchers left?
I mean, he's only got 3 in his deck list. He's played 3 of them. I think he's almost out of options.
And I believe he plays Computer Search and not Dowsing Machine here.
Well, let's see, are there any options
that is
left
a computer search
for Jeremiah? Yeah, go figure. There is the computer search. We'll see if he has any card here that can help him out.
Is the writing on the wall? Is this going to be it for game 1? Is Ishaan going to be able to pull this off and take a 1-0 lead here? Guess we're finding out.
That's what Jeremiah is trying to figure out, too. Maybe a Hypnotoxic Laser could be something that saves him, but no, he's going to concede the game, and that means Ishaan's going to take game number 1.
Yeah, he concedes the game. Ishaan takes game number 1, and he is now 1 game away from being the national championship in the senior division.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I got a chance to talk with Ishaan a little bit before the match, and he was extremely nervous about this. He's just very nervous about going on stage, playing in front of everybody, but you can see this kid has a lot of talent, and he's showing it off right here.
Yeah, how can you not be, right? I mean, he's in the senior division, so he's 14 or under, and you're on this big stage. There's there's thousands of people here, and you're just I'm nervous for him. All right, I can only imagine how nervous he is.
Yeah, now for Jeremiah, this has to be even more nerve-wracking. You are down a game in the finals of the national championships. Now you have to battle back and win 2 in a row. Who do you think's the favorite at this point?
I mean, it's obviously Ishaan, right? Ishaan's ahead 1-0. Ishaan's got the deck that really has the inevitability. I can't stress that enough. If Ishaan can continue getting these stage 2s into play as early as he has been, then I mean, I have to feel bad for Jeremiah because the deck's just so strong.
Absolutely. I mean, he did get a very good start, let's not forget. He did get a knockout on the second turn with a Miltank against an Absol, so that was about as perfect of a start as you can ask for Ishaan. Now Jeremiah will get the opportunity to choose who goes first. I assume he'll go first, and that'll put a lot more pressure on Ishaan this game.
Yeah, Jeremiah does get to go first this game too. So I'm sure he's advantaged going into game 2. Game 3, however, even if he manages to pull this game 2 off, is going to be an Ishaan start. So it's a steep hill to climb for Jeremiah. Neither of these players mulligans though, so we're going to see a nice, fair, fast game 2 start.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens in game number 2 of the finals here in the senior division at the Pokemon TCG US National Championships. Looks like we have 2 Darkrai EX for Jeremiah.
That's a pretty strong start for Jeremiah here. A Hypnotoxic Laser with the tails, but still the fact that he gets the bite for 2 cards, immediately, and he gets a few energy in play as well as
That is not a strong start at all. He has no supporter cards, just a couple of energy and a float stone. That is not the opening hand you want to see here.
The bicycle betrays him, and it doesn't find him a supporter, so he's actually just forced to pass after playing an energy, and it looks like Ishaan doesn't really do anything either.
Well, if you notice, Ishaan actually has an N in his hand, and he opted not to play it, knowing that his opponent had nothing good. So he's saying, you know what? I have a rare candy and an Empoleon in my hand. I am not going to give my opponent 6 fresh cards. I'm just going to hold on to this.
And Jeremiah actually finds a Sableye, so he's able to junk hunt and kind of put himself in a good position. The fact that Empoleon comes into play on turn 2 is always nice, but I mean, now he's forced to end, right?
Right, well, the start was so slow for Jeremiah that it pretty much offset his first turn advantage. Now Ishaan's going to have the opportunity once again to take the first prize in this matchup. He has that Empoleon in play. If he just gets a Water Energy and 1 more Pokemon, Attack Command will be doing 70 damage, enough to take down that Sableye.
Oh man, I feel bad for the Sableye. However, he only plays 6 energy in his deck, so it's not like it's a given that he's going to find these things.
Absolutely. He will have access to that diving draw ability, though, so he can draw 2 extra cards if need be. We'll see if he decides to do that.
It looks like he hasn't found the energy so far, and he diving draws still doesn't find the energy, so he might not be able to attack this turn.
Misses the energy. That was a huge missed opportunity to take the first prize and take the lead in this game. Now the advantage might go back to Jeremiah.
It's funny how like these games are so tipsy-turvy, right? Like anything can happen in this game, and the fact that he wasn't able to find the energy still kind of puts him in a bad position. Now a random receiver from Jeremiah, he's got his supporter starting to go, finds an N, and you have to believe that Jeremiah is not going to stumble anymore.
Right. Now, it's going to be difficult for him to attack this turn with any real attacker. He does run Energy Switch. That would probably be his main way of doing that. But otherwise, he'll need to get a Darkness Energy in the discard pile and go with a Dark Patch.
A Pokemon Catcher gives him a head, so the Duskull is probably going to go down this turn. This is big because that was the only Duskull in play.
Right, and as we saw last game, Dusknoir is so important in this matchup, in every matchup basically. So we'll have to see if Jeremiah can actually knock out this Duskull. Currently he cannot, but all sorts of cards can do it.
Jeremiah decided to play an Yveltal with a double colorless energy attached to it, so he's going to be trying to attack with the Yveltal instead of a Darkrai in this game if he finds the energy switch.
Yeah, now there's any number of cards that can get a knockout here on this Duskull. There could be a Hypnotoxic Laser in a Burbank City Gym that would allow Sableye to use Confuse Ray and actually knock it out, or an Energy Switch is another good way to do it, and it looks like he did find that Energy Switch, so here we go.
This
here
is
comes
huge for Jeremiah. EX. This is absolutely huge for Jeremiah. The Energy Switch takes the energy off of the Sableye. It's no longer needed on him. He's done his work, and now Yveltal is going to start going wild, man.
Absolutely. I mean, it would already knock out Duskull, but the poor thing is also weak to darkness, so it's going to take a Y-Cyclone for 180 damage, and now the pressure's on Ishaan. What can he do now?
Well, he attaches a Muscle Band to the Miltank, so that's step 1. He's going to be able to deal 100 damage with Powerful Friends for a single energy, but that's not really enough because it's going to get knocked out in 1 hit after that.
Right. So we do see another N from Ishaan. He's going to shuffle in and draw 6. Jeremiah will shuffle in and draw 5. And at this point, there's just so much pressure being put on by that Yveltal EX. You can see how quickly that Evil Ball adds up. Even those Miltank are going to be in some danger there, only having 100 HP. And it looks like, once again, we don't see any energy from Ishaan. Uses the diving draw and misses again.
This is awful for Ishaan. Ishaan has not been able to find an energy this entire game. He finds the execute in order to be able to propagate, so at least his diving draws are free. But at the same time, he just doesn't have any options available to him if he can't attack, right?
Right. Now, he is going to get that execute out of the discard pile with propagation. Use that dowsing machine for rare candy to get a second Empoleon, and he's going to try that diving draw one more time. See if he gets it this time. No, he misses the water energy again, and he has to pass the turn.
Shakes his head, passes the turn, doesn't have any other options available to him. Is Jeremiah in position to take this to game 3?
Well, he's definitely in the lead right now, but anything can happen here. You never know with a card like N in the format. And let's not forget, Ishaan has all these non-EX Pokemon. He's forcing Jeremiah to knock out 6 different Pokemon, whereas Jeremiah has those big EXs that give up 2 prizes for each knockout. So if there's any silver lining here, it's that.
Okay, it is the fact that this game is not going to be over anytime soon. He's going to have to take the 5 prizes the easy way, or not the easy way, but the hard way. I'm sorry. And he's going to have to take them one at a time, right? Like the Miltank's got 100 HP, the Empoleons have more than 100 HP, and you're going to have to start, keep attacking every turn for the rest of the game, and in that case, the game will end in 5 turns. But even then, a lot of things can go wrong, including an end.
Right, we did see the Pokemon catcher get Tails. He's probably going to go after that Empoleon, but we see a Muscle Band and another Y Cyclone that's powering up that Darkrai EX on the bench, while simultaneously getting a knockout on the Miltank, a very strong move. And you got to think, Ishaan definitely needs to start attacking right now, otherwise he's going to be way too far behind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's already really. Oh, there's that water energy, so he's going to be able to actually attack him. And is it too little, too late though? We'll find out.
I'm not sure. One thing that is going for him is that Jeremiah did put a lot of Pokemon into play. Normally against an Empoleon deck, you try to limit how many Pokemon you put on the bench, since it does 10 damage for each Pokemon in play. So right now, if Ishaan were able to fill up his bench, he could hit for 110 damage, and all of a sudden, that's starting to get out of control.
Yes, it is. I believe he found a Duskull, so that's huge for him. He really needs to get a Dusknoir in play. He's not going to win the game without a Dusknoir in play, more than likely, unless, end miracles happen.
Right. What happens is you can hit for about 110 damage with attack command, and then next turn, you would do it again, but you would just kind of waste the damage. It would be overkill on that Yveltal EX. So what you do is conserve some of that damage with Dusknoir's Sinister Hand, move it to the next one, and then next time you can just maybe attack command for a one-hit knockout since you have that damage left over.
Yeah, he's going to Ultra Ball here. I'm assuming he's just going to try to find more basics here. Maybe another Piplup.
Absolutely. Yeah. He just wants to get as many Pokemon in play as possible so that he can use attack command for as much damage as he can.
Yeah. Man, I'm really unsure what's going to happen here. Like, for example, Jeremiah is probably going to try to target the Duskull, right?
I would think so. That has to be target number 1.
All right, well, he top decks a Hypnotoxic Laser and immediately uses it. It looks like he got heads on the Hypnotoxic Laser, so the Empoleon is asleep, and it's going to have to wake up if it wants to attack on the following turn.
Right, we do see an energy switch, moving the energy up to that Yveltal EX. If Jeremiah can find that Burbank City Gym, he can simply Y Cyclone for the knockout. Otherwise, he may have to commit some more energy to Evil Ball for the knockout. We'll have to see what route he goes.
I like how you're so daring on doing the math. Like, it's natural to you. For me, I'm just sitting there going, I wonder if that's going to be a knockout. I wonder if it's not. But he does need the Burbank City Gym in order to actually knock him out. And he's going for the Juniper. I believe he's going for it.
Absolutely. He actually attached the extra energy, saying, you know what, I'm not going to risk this. I just want to make sure I sit on my lead here, and I'll be able to Evil Ball for the knockout. But he does draw that computer search. He could find that Burbank City Gym if he really wants to.
Yeah, he could. That wouldn't be a bad strategy, because then he'd be able to actually Y Cyclone and conserve the energy in case something goes terribly wrong, since, he's got 11 counters on his Yveltal.
Absolutely. But it looks like we're just going to see that Evil Ball. He's going to hold on to that computer search for a later time. And now he's down to 3 prizes. Ishaan still sitting at 6. But here is another Empoleon coming into play. Looks like he has an endless army of these Penguins.
That's kind of the strategy. He's trying to get as many Empoleons into play, like you said earlier. And I still need to see a Dusknoir in play to feel a little bit better for Ishaan, but currently I'll take what I can get here, because even though his opponent is up ahead 3 prizes, the game isn't even close to over yet. I hope I didn't speak too soon, but the game isn't over yet, and you never know what can happen here. And the fact that Ishaan's actually still in the game after starting so pitifully, I believe he didn't attack for 2 straight turns because he couldn't find an energy where he was in good position to do so. So if he can actually find a way to get back into this game, that's got to speak a lot about how this matchup goes, because everything's gone right for Jeremiah.
Yeah, normally we see these Yveltal decks run some kind of supporting line, like we saw Garbodor, we've seen Raichu, but no, Jeremiah is just running all basic Pokemon. Normally those support Pokemon are really good against Empoleon, but hey, he's just saying, you know what, I think Yveltal and Darkrai are good enough on their own, and hey, so far he's proven that right.
What Pokemon did he just find here?
That's a Dusclops, so he will get the stage 1 into play. That's going to be a little bit of a missed opportunity, I think. Some of that damage will be wasted when he knocks out this Yveltal EX. But he's saying, you know what, I just need to get Dusknoir eventually.
Yeah, he didn't get the help of the Rare Candy this time around, so he went with the Dusclops. He's going to evolve the Dusknoir the old-fashioned way, which is just slowly but surely, right?
Feels so slow.
It does, doesn't it? Like, the Rare Candy's kind of like, oh, there's the Rare Candy, actually. So the Rare Candy's kind of just, it's made us.
Rare Candy has been around for the past 10 years, so we're just used to basics skipping all the way to stage 2. And when you see one actually slowly evolve into stage 2, it's like, wow, that took forever.
Why do they play these cards like they're so slow?
All right, so we do see the attack command knocking out that Eviltal EX, and now Darkrai EX will be coming out. We'll have to see, can Jeremiah actually pull off a knockout this turn? It's not that simple. Empoleon does have 140 HP, so he's going to need a lot of cards to actually pull off a knockout.
What cards is he going to need, Kyle?
Well, you probably need a Muscle Band on that Darkrai EX. That way Night Spear can do 110 damage, and then a Hypnotoxic Laser and a Burbank City Gym. That way it'll add up to 140 total damage. Otherwise, he may just have to settle for 2 hits with that Night Spear attack.
So all he needs is an additional energy on the Dusknoir, or on Darkrai. He needs an additional energy on the Darkrai. He needs a Burbank City Gym, and he needs a Hypnotoxic Laser.
And a Muscle Band.
Oh, and a Muscle Band. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, I'm sure he can pull it off then, because that seems easy. I can do that in my sleep.
Well, he did computer search.
He is pulling it off.
For the Burbank City Gym, there's the Hypnotoxic Laser. The only card is missing now is the Muscle Band, along with an energy, but he will have an opportunity to play that Professor Juniper and draw those cards. So this is going to be a big moment in this game if he can pull that off.
Energy and Muscle Band will do for him here. Looks like, oh, he hasn't hit it yet. Oh, there it is.
There it is. There's the Muscle Band. That's going to allow him to Night Spear for the knockout and continue this pressure. He can also hit a bench Pokemon for 30 damage with that Night Spear attack, and he'll go down to 2 prizes after this turn.
I was just kidding about it not being difficult.
Well, hey, computer search is pretty good.
Oh, man. Okay, so we do see a Night Spear here. Then Empoleon goes down, and man, just like when it seems like Ishaan's finally clawing his way back into the game, there goes a big turn for Jeremiah, and he kind of says, all right, man, you won game 1, congratulations, but game 2's mine.
Right, now we have a very threatening situation for Ishaan here. That Piplup just got hit for 30 damage. It only has 60 HP, so if it doesn't evolve, we could see very easily a 2-prize Night Spear for the game next turn.
He decides to activate the Empoleon instead of a Miltank. How do you feel about him going with Empoleon as the primary attacker instead of the Miltank, which, I mean, I'm assuming he usually is?
Well, at this point, it seems like Empoleon's just going to be doing more damage. That's probably what he feels like. It also has more HP, I suppose. So I guess he's just throwing Empoleon out there, and we do see that Super Rod shuffling in more pieces of that Empoleon line. Particularly the Prinplup is going to be very big here to allow that Piplup to survive.
We were kidding about just, not wanting to evolve the old-fashioned way, about wanting to skip the stage 1s, but at this point, he'll take what we can get. He'll definitely be looking for that Prinplup here.
We did see that Startling Megaphone, a very big card there to discard the Muscle Band off of the Darkrai EX. Now Night Spear is back to doing just 90 damage, and it's going to be more difficult for it to get a knockout.
Yeah, he's going to need to have a Hypnotoxic Laser in order to knock it out, or a Muscle Band, obviously.
Right, and we do see Propagation being used once again. That Execute, it can't be understated how powerful that card is. Everything in Ishaan's deck pretty much revolves around discarding cards at some point. We do see that Tropical Beach getting rid of the Burbank City Gym, so a big turn here in just kind of denying Jeremiah his resources, and a Level Ball should be able to get him that Prinplup.
Yeah, the Level Ball is going to be able to find the Prinplup because it has 90 HP. Actually, I believe that they're starting to figure out what's going on here.
Looks like we're going to have some kind of dispute here. Not really sure what's happening here, but we'll find that out shortly. Maybe some confusion there with the 2 cards that were drawn with that diving draw.
Okay, well, I'm sure that they're going to try to figure it out as soon as possible and try to keep the game as fair as possible, obviously, so that neither player gets an advantage here. Ishaan's going to be in a position where he might actually have to just play a chorus in order to shuffle his hand in and see if he can draw the Prinplup the natural way.
Absolutely. At this point, it seems like Jeremiah is well in the lead. Who do you think is going to come out on top in this game?
Well, Jeremiah is obviously in the lead here. Jeremiah is... it's going to take a big end for Ishaan to really get back into the game. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull it off any other way besides an end. But, I mean, end's in the deck, so it's not like it's impossible.
Yeah, it seems like that's going to be his one way to pull off a win here. That Startling Megaphone is certainly going to be useful to buy him some time. So, I don't know. It's going to be a close game.
Yeah. Now, they're having kind of an issue to resolve here, so we're coming back to us. We are back to us. And I believe we're going to take a look at the player profiles real quick just while we kind of figure the situation out.
Sure. We can take a look at Jeremiah here. He has quite a list of accomplishments. First place at a regional championships. He's also been a runner-up at a state championship and top 32 at the 2010 World Championships. So he's been around for a while. I definitely know him. He's actually a player from my area, so definitely a solid player.
It looked like 2010 was a big year for him. I mean, top 32 at World can't be understated. There's only 32 players that get that achievement.
Yeah, and now we have Ishaan. Look at this, top 16 in Nationals, top 16 in Worlds, a 4-time state champion, and he also won a regional championship this year. So he's having a great season so far, and a national championship would wrap that up.
I've heard a ton of good things about Ishaan. I mean, I've never met the guy personally before, but the fact that he's already had 4 state championships. Are you kidding me?
That's quite a few.
Jeez, man, and he's so young.
All right.
I believe we're going to be jumping back into the game now, so I assume the issue got resolved, and we'll be able to just continue the game as if nothing happened.
Absolutely. Now, a fun thing about Ishaan, he actually challenged our 3-time world champion, Jason Kozinski, to a series before this tournament, and he actually beat him. So that's how good he is.
Wow. You don't beat Jason Kozinski every day, right?
Absolutely. Looks like the play has resumed, so we'll get back to that in a second.
Okay. It looked like Ishaan was issued a warning here, so that obviously you don't want to get a warning, but that happens. People make mistakes. We're all human, and aside from the warning, it looks like the game's going to continue naturally.
Absolutely. So it looks like Ishaan is continuing his turn here, and he's going to get an energy down onto that Miltank. He does have Dusknoir in play at this point, but there's no damage for him to move around anymore. And will he be able to evolve that Piplup? No, looks like he was not able to, so this could be a huge turn for Jeremiah. He could win the game right here.
Yeah, all it takes is, there's a Burbank City Gym. All it takes is a Hypnotoxic Laser at this point, and it looks like Jeremiah's going to be able to pull out this game.
Yeah, this is going to be the big turn here. Can he get a Hypnotoxic Laser or a Muscle Band? Either one will allow him to get the victory here. He's got a lot of cards he can play down. He's saying, do I want to put this down, use the Bicycle, or just go for that big Professor Juniper? And it looks like he's going to go with what's going to draw him the most cards. He's going to play that Energy Switch, play that Keldeo EX, Bicycle for 2. Doesn't get it.
Still no dice for him. It looks like there's still some hope for Ishaan here.
Yeah, so he does draw a Dark Patch that will allow him to get another energy into play. And we will have a big Professor Juniper here. He'll be able to draw 7 cards. Will he find that Muscle Band or Hypnotoxic Laser?
All right, 7 cards. If he finds Muscle Band or Hypnotoxic Laser, we will be going to game 3. Still nothing.
Seven
Down
card,
2.
no. And it looks like Ishaan will survive one more turn. But even with that, what's he going to do? He's going to have an Empoleon with just 20 HP left after this turn. A Piplup's going to go down. Jeremiah just has to take one prize. He has 2 Darkrai EX almost fully powered. Seems like even surviving the turn, he doesn't have much of a chance anymore.
Yeah. Jeremiah, all he has to do is really set up a Night Spear to knock out the final Empoleon on his final turn, and that's going to be the end of the game. So it's still really bad for Ishaan. Ishaan's going to not only need an N here, but he's also going to need a miracle.
Yeah, well, I've seen crazy things happen before. We'll have to see what Jeremiah does. It looks like he did Dark Patch again onto that Yveltal EX, and seems like he's going to play an Ultra Ball here, just discarding some cards in case Ishaan does play that N. He doesn't want to draw any junky cards like Ultra Ball that he doesn't need anymore. He wants to have just good cards left in his deck like those supporters. Exactly.
So he's even going to play the Absol. I don't really think it's all that relevant. I don't even know if an N is going to be able to pull it off criteria for him yet. All he has to do is conserve a Darkrai. That's all he has to do is have a Darkrai in play with enough energy to attack, and it looks like he's just going to be able to take this game 2 and take it to a deciding game 3.
So there we do see the Night Spear. Piplup goes down. Poor thing couldn't evolve before it was knocked out. Now Jeremiah is 1 prize away from tying this series. Can Ishaan stop him?
What can Ishaan really do here? I mean, it just seems so bad for him. The Night Spear is going to be able to tackle the Empoleon, and that's going to be the end for him in this game 2.
Absolutely. There we do see an end, though, so Jeremiah will go down to 1 card. We do have that Sinister Hand from Dusknoir. Could move the damage up to the active Darkrai, and then a powerful Friends from Miltank will knock it out. That's going to force Jeremiah to have an energy to attack.
Yeah, he's got to have an energy. He's got to have an energy, and it looks like he top decked pretty well.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens on his turn. The Muscle Band goes on to Miltank. That will allow him to preserve even more damage with that Sinister Hand. But we can see here, Dusknoir will allow Ishaan to get the knockout here. He'll move, looks like, how much damage is he going to move? 100? No, that's 80 damage, and then he'll be able to do 100, finishing off that Darkrai EX.
Yeah, so just enough for the perfect amount of damage to be able to knock out the Darkrai. Remember that he energy switched last turn, so he doesn't have the energy to be able to attack this turn. Oh, he top decks a double colorless energy. That's going to be the end of the game.
There we go. There's an Evil Ball, and down goes Miltank. Then game number 2 goes to Jeremiah. We are tied at 1 apiece here in the finals of the National Championships.
Wow, Jeremiah pulled it off. I had a feeling he was probably going to pull this game off because he did get to go first. I had a feeling that he was going to pull it off early, or this time around because he got to go first. But next game, game 3, that's where he's going to be in a tough position because now the Empoleon deck's going to get to go first. The Empoleon deck's going to be able to evolve on its own second turn before Jeremiah really has enough energy in play.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of pressure, though. If Ishaan can't get that Empoleon or Dusknoir out on the second turn, Yveltal EX, we can see, comes out swinging very quickly. So going first is going to be a huge advantage. He just has to have the cards to actually take advantage of it.
We've seen the Empoleon deck kind of be the deciding deck when it comes to to who won and who lost. Like, for example, the Empoleon deck, when it got going really fast, it dominated the game, right?
Absolutely.
But then when the Empoleon deck kind of stuttered and stumbled, then, I mean, that's what happened. It lost. So I feel like the power, the decision in the game is really up to the Empoleon deck here. And I feel like if the Empoleon deck draws well, we're probably going to see the Ishaan win the game. And if not, then, I mean, obviously Yveltal is just so consistent that it's going to be able to take advantage of the fact that the Empoleon deck's going to stumble.
Yeah, that's really the appeal of this kind of deck. That's why it's been probably the most popular deck, these Yveltal EX decks. They're just very simple and very straightforward. They're going to do pretty much the same thing every game. We're going to get quick attacks, do tons of damage extremely quickly, and just try to overpower the opponent with quick aggression. So we'll have to see if Ishaan can crumble under the aggression, or will I don't know. Will he be able to set up his Empoleon and continue to attack the man to a national championship?
Well, they're drawing their opening hands now, so it looks like we're going to find out really soon. In the meantime, though, you actually mentioned how, or to me anyways, how the Empoleon deck was such a good choice for this tournament because there was Pyro decks everywhere, there was Fire decks everywhere. When it wasn't Pyro, it was Charizard. So Empoleon seemed like a really good deck choice for this tournament. However, he's playing against the deck that, I mean, it's not Fire. So how do you feel like? Obviously, it's not the preferable matchup for the finals here for him.
Well, obviously Ishaan knew coming into this tournament that Yveltal EX decks would be the most popular. So he played this deck knowing that he can have a good matchup against it, or at least have a good shot. And as we saw in the first game, if everything goes well, Empoleon could definitely stand toe-to-toe with these big bad Pokemon EX. It's just a matter of getting him into play quickly enough.
I am really happy to see a Tropical Beach here in play on the very first turn of the game. When you can't attack on the first turn, the very next best thing is going to be a Tropical Beach to really reset your hand and set it up. I mean, he's Ultra Balling away a Dowsing Machine here, so.
Wow. Big loss there first turn. He's playing the Ultra Ball to discard that Dowsing Machine. Normally we like to see players hang on to that card for the right moment since it can recover any trainer card. It's that Ace Spec card. You only get one of them, but he's saying, you know what? My other cards are too valuable. I need to discard this Dowsing Machine, and he's going to grab that Miltank. It looks like we're going to see a Skyla as well.
It's a sign of a good player, though, when you see them sacrifice resources that are going to be, obviously much more valuable to them later on in the game. When they realize that, you know what, I mean, the resources might be more valuable later on, but I need to focus right now on the early game. So I like the fact that he's willing to take these big risks.
Yeah, he knows if he sets up, he's at an advantage. That first game certainly proved that. If he can get Empoleon out quickly enough and Dusknoir, they can carry him to victory.
So he's going to, I believe he's just Tropical Beach right now. So look at how many cards he just drew.
I mean, that's a pretty strong start. I don't see a rare candy. That's what he would be hoping for here. And we'll have to see what does Jeremiah get off this random receiver. It's going to be an N.
An N is okay here. I really don't mind an N. Like I said, he's usually the aggressor, so the fact that he's going to probably be ahead on prizes, assuming things go well for him, means that you want to get rid of your Ns as soon as possible.
Right, we do see that Darkrai EX opening there. It's not the greatest starting Pokemon since it does take 3 energy to attack, kind of the beefier Pokemon between that and Yveltal EX, but that energy switch could provide a quick attack. We do see that in his hand, along with that regular Yveltal, so we could see a quick Oblivion Wing, and we may see Piplup go down on the first turn if he can find a Hypnotoxic Laser.
I don't believe he has a laser in his hand, though, so he's going to have to bicycle for it. He's going to draw a full 4 cards off the bicycle. So
it's a very strong play here. If he can find that Hypnotoxic Laser, he can take the first prize very quickly. But no, looks like he misses, and he's just going to have to settle for hitting for 50.
Only 50 damage on the very first turn of the game, right?
Hey, I mean, I'm sure he would have preferred the knockout. Now that Piplup will survive, we see a startling Megaphone discarding 2 Muscle Bands right off the bat, and a rare candy and Empoleon. A perfect start for Ishaan in this game.
My goodness. Okay, so the startling Megaphone is usually, I mean, it'll usually get rid of 1 Muscle Band. You tend to not want to overextend, but he felt like he had to play the second Muscle Band in order to get a full 4 cards off the bicycle. So he came back and just bit him immediately, and he's now lost 2 Muscle Bands in this game, and the Muscle Band's actually a pretty big card in order to be able to knock out these Empoleons.
Absolutely. It's really what allows you to hit that magic number, especially with Darkrai to be able to Night Spear for 110 damage. That's going to be a big blow here.
And the N from Jeremiah, obviously, Ishaan just played an N himself, but the N from Jeremiah actually found Ishaan the Empoleon on the second turn. So this was big for Ishaan because Ishaan didn't have access to that before the end.
Absolutely. We did see him Ultra Ball for another Piplup, so he has 3 in play, 1 evolved already, and he's going to get an N for a fresh 6 cards. So far, so good. He is having an incredible setup. He can also use Diving Draw here to draw 2 additional cards, and he's going to be able to get some damage in play here with a quick attack command.
He hasn't found a Duskull yet. Is that bad for him?
Well, it's good and bad. I mean, obviously, you would like to have Duskull down. You'd like to have Dusknoir out at some point, but it looks like he's actually prioritizing Empoleon. he may actually feel like, you know what, if I can just get enough Empoleon out, I may not even need Dusknoir. I'm just trading, doing 2-hit knockouts or trading two prizes, and I may get the first prize, so this may work out in my favor.
So Ishaan's turn was over there, and Jeremiah is now up to go. He's Ultra Balling in order to get some Darkness energies into his discard pile, so as Dark Patches are going to be obviously effective now. So that's how the Dark Gray deck, any Dark deck really, gets energy in play. That's how that's what makes him so good, is the fact that Dark Patch is just such a really, really good card for being just an item card.
Yeah, we do see an Ultra Ball for that Absol. This could be a huge card here. Mind Jack, of course, doing 20 plus 20 for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Right now, hitting for 80 damage. He is going to be 10 short, but if he can find that last Muscle Band or a Hypnotoxic Laser, he can finish off this Empoleon and leave Ishaan with no Stage 2 Pokemon in play.
All right, so this is going to be big for Jeremiah. He's going to draw 6 new cards off at the end. He actually discarded it, well, didn't discard it, but he actually played his hand down to pretty much nothing, or nothing even. So he thinned his deck out, and he's going to be looking for the Muscle Band or the Hypnotoxic Laser.
This is another opportunity here where Hypnotoxic Laser could be huge, and once again, it looks like he does not draw it. 2 missed opportunities here. That Empoleon is just pretty lucky.
Yeah, it's extremely lucky. Man, so a Dark Patch does come down here to start powering up the Darkrai. If he hadn't energy switched or anything like that, then maybe he would have been able to attack.
Perhaps. It looks like he just really wanted to go for that knockout on Empoleon, and it would have been a huge play. Miltank doesn't do anything unless there's a Stage 2 Pokemon in play. It only does 10 damage with that powerful Friends attack. So taking out that Empoleon would have been a huge play, but it looks like, nope, it's going to survive with just 10 HP.
That's so bad for Jeremiah, because that's wasted damage. Like, next turn he's going to have to waste an entire turn or spend an entire turn just to deal 10 damage, basically.
Absolutely. We are going to see a diving draw. A second Empoleon did come into play, and it looks like Ishaan's trying to do some math here. Right now there are 9 Pokemon in play, so he doesn't want to take the risk of not knocking out Absol. He's going to use that Muscle Band just to make sure he can get the knockout here, and he will be able to take the first prize.
Still wants to find that Duskull, but obviously he's going to settle for a Muscle Band for now.
Right, so we do see another N. It seems like we see about 5 or 6 of these played in a game, sometimes up to 8. Pretty much every deck plays 4 N. Is just one of the most powerful supporters in the game. So both players are going to shuffle in and draw 6.
Yeah, N's an extremely versatile supporter. It's never really a bad draw unless you're blowing your opponent out. So, in that case, who cares? You're already winning anyways.
Yeah, so we do see the Duskull coming into play. He does get one down, and we see another diving draw. Still haven't found that Execute to make diving draw a little easier. Has to discard a Water Energy for it. But hey, he gets the knockout, gets some more cards in his hand. All in all, a very good turn.
Yeah, the Attack Command does knock out the Absol. Absol was really only in play for 1 turn. It didn't even get to knock out anything. Obviously, Jeremiah's got to be feeling pretty poorly about this.
Absolutely. We do see, look at that, the next card, he finally drew the Hypnotoxic Laser. So that will finish off that Empoleon one way or another. Unfortunately, it just seems like kind of a wasted turn. He could attack and knock out the Empoleon, or just sit there and maybe he can use Tropical Beach and just laugh as the Empoleon gets knocked out by poison. We'll have to see what route he takes here.
Talk about rubbing salt in the wound, right? Like, the very next card you draw is the Hypnotoxic Laser. I hate when that happens to me, and I hate when that happens to other people, because you just have to feel really poorly, really bad for this guy.
Yeah, it looks like he may be going for a Junk Hunt here. That may be another option. Nothing stronger than a Junk Hunt for a knockout.
Junk Hunt for a knockout is my favorite attack in the game, and he's going to be able to actually find a Hypnotoxic Laser with it if he wants. So, that's what you want to do if you weren't able to knock out your opponent on the previous turn.
Right, and this will allow Jeremiah perhaps to recover one of those Muscle Bands that did get discarded earlier, which will allow him to get easier knockouts later on in the game. The unfortunate part here is that Sableye, of course, is just a 70 HP non-EX Pokemon, and that will make Ishaan go down to 4 prizes after he knocks it out, and he'll just have to knock out 2 Pokemon EX after that to win the game.
Yeah, Ishaan's going to have a knockout immediately available to him with the Empoleon or a Miltank if he finds an energy card. So, but either way, the Junk Hunt's still going to be extremely strong. It's going to basically make sure that his hand is not dead, and that's really important. Jeremiah's been stumbling a lot here, and he just wants to make sure that the rest of the game is a smooth ride. Regardless of what happens, just make sure that you don't get into any more trouble.
Absolutely. So we will see a Junk Hunt here from Sableye. He will recover 2 item cards from the discard pile, Muscle Band and Dark Patch, like you said, setting up just for the next few turns to make sure from here on out, I want to be knocking things out every single turn.
He got rid of the 2 Muscle Bands early on in the game, so this was big for him. He needed to find Muscle Band. He really needs the Muscle Band in order to secure these knockouts on the Empoleon, because the fact that the Empoleon only attacks for 1 energy doesn't really help the Yveltal out. Yveltal needs a lot of damage, or it needs more energies in play on your opponent's side of the board in order for the Evil Ball to really do big damage.
Right. My biggest concern for Ishaan at this point, we did see him discard a Super Rod early on and a Dowsing Machine, and he's actually had to use Diving Draw to discard a few Water Energy as well. So this is his last form of recovery in terms of those energy or Pokemon. So this could be, I mean, a big thing here looks he's going to have to shuffle in some Water Energy with that Super Rod and a Dusknoir.
All right, so he has a Dusclops in play again. We stressed earlier how you really don't want to be evolving through stage ones. That's the old method of evolving, and we haven't done that for a decade now.
Well, I mean, Dusknoir is not a Pokemon you need immediately, so evolving slowly through Dusclops actually ends up working out more often than you think. We do see the Professor Juniper here getting a fresh hand of 7 cards, and we'll see what else he can do this turn.
We didn't see any energies in this 7-card hand. That's a problem that you get when you play only 6 Water Energies in your entire deck. But it seems like he's been getting that problem a little bit too much this match. Yeah,
it seems like he's getting a little bit unlucky. He did shuffle 2 of those back in with that Super Rod. I have to wonder how many he actually has left in his deck at this point, but we do see the attack command knocking out that Sableye. He's down to 4 prizes. Jeremiah needs to start responding right now.
He starts with a Hypnotoxic Laser, gets tails on the laser, but still poisons his opponent, and that's a good way to start the turn off.
Absolutely. We see the Muscle Band going on to the Darkrai. He is favoring Darkrai EX in this matchup. If he can get the Night Sphere knockout on Empoleon and also do 30 damage to a bench Pokemon, it's an extremely strong play that may eventually lead to 2 prize turns with Night Sphere thanks to that bench damage. It's just a matter at this point of finding that Burbank City Gym to get the additional damage from the poison.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Burbank City Gym is the card that he's going to be looking for right now. He's going to obviously play supporter to draw more cards, but he needs to fund this Burbank City Gym.
Absolutely. We do see an Ultra Ball here. He's just searching for that Keldeo EX. He's going to play that Professor Juniper to discard his hand. So he may as well just take out a Pokemon that's not going to be very useful in this matchup. Plays down the other Hypnotoxic Laser, puts the Empoleon to sleep, and we'll see if he draws that Burbank City Gym.
All right, so we're looking for the Burbank City Gym. He's 4 cards in, 5 cards in, still no Burbank. No Burbank City Gym. Again, he misses. He keeps having these crucial turns where all he needs is a single card, and he draws so many cards to try to find it, and he keeps missing. This is really poor, really bad for Jeremiah.
This is just not his game. He's missed those Hypnotoxic Lasers early on. Now he's missing the Burbank City Gym. He's going to have to settle for the Night Spear for 110 damage, hitting a bench Pokemon for 30, but it's not a knockout. This is a big problem.
Empoleon wakes up, so that's big for Ishaan. Ishaan is now going to have to, find a switch or anything like that. In the meantime, Ishaan does have a Duskull in play with 30 damage on it, so he's going to want to evolve that if he possibly can. But either way, he's looking to be in pretty good shape since the Empoleon didn't get knocked out.
Yeah, I think if he could, he would get Dusknoir into play right now and just knock out that Darkrai EX. There is 70 damage sitting on the bench on that Yveltal from earlier on from that first attack command, so he could just move that up to the active Darkrai EX. There are 11 Pokemon in play, so that would be 110 damage, just enough to knock out that Darkrai.
Do we see any supporters in his hand besides Zen or Lysander?
Looks like
Skyla.
That
looks like we see
question.
Skyla. All right, so the Skyla, what's he going to find? Okay, it finds an Ultra Ball. I still think he's going to probably rely on Diving Draw in order to try to find this Dusknoir.
Well, it looks like he's going to play the Ultra Ball and go discard a Level Ball and a Miltank there, so he is going to be able to search for that Dusknoir right now. There it is. We'll see if he has the rare candy to evolve the damaged Duskull, though.
He decides to play the Ultra Ball and now has to find a rare candy, or else, there it is. He already has it.
He already has it. He doesn't need to find anything. He's got it all in his hand right now. There's Dusknoir, Sinister Hand, moving the 7 damage counters up to the active Darkrai EX. We've seen Dusknoir be so powerful in this tournament this weekend, and that is exactly why. There's 70 damage just sitting there, and now all of a sudden it's on the active, and that Darkrai is going to go down.
He decides to discard the switch through Diving Draw in order to find, I really don't know what he's trying to find, but either way, he decides to discard it instead of switching his Empoleon out because he didn't have any energy in his hand. So now he's for sure going to get the Empoleon knocked out at the end of his opponent's turn.
This is actually a very scary situation for Ishaan at this point. He's down to 2 prizes. An end could be very devastating. He doesn't have another Empoleon in play. He doesn't even have any energy in play. So we could see a situation where he gets put down to a 2-card hand and just simply doesn't have any options anymore. Just doesn't draw enough cards to do anything.
Professor's Letter found him a single Darkness Energy, probably the only Darkness left in his deck, and I really want to see an end here from Jeremiah.
Absolutely, that has to be the card he needs to play this turn. Ishaan has too many cards in his hand. He needs to limit his options, and he'll also take away that Empoleon, take away that Diving Draw. I mean, that's really what you got to go for here.
So it looks like he is going to go for it. He goes for an end. We're looking to see if Ishaan draws well off of this end. He's got only 2 cards to go here, and he's got a single diving draw, which isn't even going to be in play at the beginning of his next turn. So he's not even going to have the ability to diving draw.
Yeah, these 2 cards for Ishaan are going to be absolutely crucial if he can get another Empoleon into play.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Right away, the very first card we saw was a Juniper.
Juniper and Empoleon. If you could pick 2 cards, I think that would be them. Looks like Jeremiah retreats, but I don't believe he has a Darkrai EX in play. I don't think he's allowed to do that.
You're right. He doesn't have a Darkrai EX in play, so he isn't technically allowed to retreat here.
Hopefully they pick up on that. There is not a Darkrai EX in play. There's no free retreat for that Evoltal EX, but it looks like he's going to retreat and use that Oblivion Wing for the knockout, get an extra energy in play, and we'll have to see how Ishaan responds here.
I believe that they just caught it. We saw the judge hand, the judge hand wave over the game as in like, all right, guys, stop. There's no Darkrai in play, so I'm glad that they did catch it. I'm sure it's just going to be a really quick rewind. They're probably going to not allow him to retreat the Evoltal, and I wonder if he's going to have the ability to attack.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing these dark decks, you're so used to just having a Darkrai in play. This happens pretty frequently. You're thinking, oh, I have a Dark Energy on there. I should just be able to retreat for free. But no, his Darkrai got knocked out. He probably just didn't realize it, Like I said, you pretty much always assume you have a Darkrai out there and you just get to retreat for free.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time. I see it happen probably every tournament, right? So I really feel weird for Jeremiah, because if he's not going to be able to use Oblivion Wing, how is he going to attack? He only had a single energy on the Evoltal that was active. I don't believe he had any way to really attack with it, so maybe he's just going to be forced to pass.
Absolutely. We'll have to see what they decide, but at this point, Jeremiah is definitely far behind in this game. And, I mean, Ishaan only has 2 prizes left to take. So is there any way Jeremiah can come back in this situation?
Well, he ended his opponent to a 2-card hand, and the 2-card hand was a Juniper and an Empoleon. So, yes, there's a chance. It's not a big one.
Yeah, you got to think Ishaan at this point has had a lot of things go his way. Jeremiah missed a lot of opportunities early on in the game with those hypnotoxic lasers. If he would have had that first Piplup, that first Empoleon, those would have gone down. If he found that Burbank City gym, that Empoleon would have gone down. But no, looks like Empoleon has just found a way to survive everything that's thrown his way so far.
You have to believe that Jeremiah's just been getting extremely unlucky this entire game. I mean, he had the game in his hands 3 turns in a row or something like that.
Yeah.
And every turn he needed a single card, didn't draw it, and didn't draw it. So now Jeremiah's in a position. I mean, I'm sure that didn't affect his mind, or that affected his mindset. So, I mean, now this happens and he can't even retreat the Evoltal. I mean,
let's keep in mind, this is a very nerve-wracking match. This is the finals of the US National Championships. The winner of this gets a $5,000 scholarship award. You get that big trophy. You get that trip to Washington, D.C. Both these players have that already, an invitation to the World Championships. But to be able to call yourself the national champion and hoist that trophy, I mean, there's a lot on the line, especially being in front of this crowd as well.
It looked like what we expected to happen is going to happen. They're going to rewind the game, and now we're going to have to see, though, if Evoltal is going to be able to find a way to attack and get the knockout here. That's going to be the big deal. If he can't, then...
Well, fortunately, that Empoleon was getting knocked out no matter what. It was poison, so even if there was no attack, it was going to be knocked out, so this should be an easily rewindable situation. Not something I'm really worried about.
I like your memory. You do remember that the Empoleon did have 10 damage left, and it was poison. I was just checking. I was just making sure you were paying attention to the game. So he's not going to be able to Oblivion Wing, though, so he won't be able to get that extra energy in play, and that is going to matter. Also, the fact that he's got an EX on the active position does matter, because his opponent's down to 2 prizes, so if he can find a way to knock it out, which, I mean, I doubt that's going to happen, but
Empoleon's not that strong.
If he could, then, I mean, that would be the end of the game.
Absolutely. All right, so it looks like we're getting a verdict pretty soon. Sorry about the delay here, but this has been a great matchup so far. This is just one of many incredible matches we've seen here at the Pokemon TCG US National Championships this weekend. The senior division is producing a lot of great players. We see it every year. These senior players move up into the Masters division. For example, one of our finalists this year in the Masters division, Brandon, he was a senior last year, now he moved up. So we get to see these guys before they move up to the Masters division.
Yeah, Brandon Salazar was speaking to me yesterday in the interview, and he told me, he's like, yeah, this is my first year as a master. I was really intimidated. I didn't think I would do well, and I mean, look at the guy. He's in the finals of the national championships. So these guys are getting extremely good, and kind of like that stigma about them being so fresh, and I mean, the masters just being these much better players it's kind of going away now, and it looks like the seniors are really putting the masters to the test.
Absolutely.
I mean, they've made both of us retire now, and now we're both sitting here commentating instead of playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like we're going to have a prize penalty here for Ishaan. He'll be able to draw a prize card, so he will go down to 1 prize here. That looks like the verdict here.
And
We'll get back
speaking
to
of
that
prizes,
yeah.
let's actually take a look at the U.S. National Championship prizes going on. It looks like, I mean, you get paid trips to the World Championships. You get $5,000 for winning the tournament. If you lose here, you still get $3,000.
Yeah. Looks like play has resumed, so we can get back to that in a second. That Empoleon did come down, and a Professor Juniper. So this is a big turn for Ishaan. We'll see, can he take this tournament soon? He's 1 game away. He's 1 prize away from the national championships.
1 prize away. Oh yeah, the prize penalty actually matters here too. The prize penalty ends up mattering. He ends up, okay, we missed it here, but he ended up using Powerful Friends as the attack for his turn. So Jeremiah's got 80 damage on his Darkrai, a single prize to go. The Evil Tall on the bench. I mean, you gotta feel like Jeremiah's got his back against the wall, right?
This is not a pretty situation at all. I mean, down to 1 prize at this point, 80 damage on your Evil Tall EX. Just 1 more attack may be the end of the tournament. Can he find some way to survive, to get past this army of Miltank and Empoleon? It just seems like they never stop coming. Once they start, it's just impossible to knock them all down.
If Ishaan has not used the Lysander yet, and he finds a way to put it in his hand, which, I mean, he doesn't have it yet, but we do see Diving Draw and whatnot, then the Lysander could theoretically just end the game for him.
Absolutely. We do see a Pokemon catcher here. Let's see what this goes after if he gets the heads. There is the heads. What will he go after with this? There are a lot of options back there.
Yeah, there's no obvious options either. So he decides to go with the Empoleon, which is kind of like the primary attacker currently. It deals the most damage. So he's going to go after the Empoleon. He's going to kind of take the fight to the Empoleon instead of letting it bring it to him.
Right. We'll see if he can manage to knock this out. He will need a double colorless energy along with a Hypnotoxic Laser and a Burbank City Gym. Maybe he's just kind of hoping that his opponent doesn't have much water energy left. We do see a Pokemon catcher fails. A Bicycle draws the Burbank City Gym.
All right, Bicycle finds the Burbank City Gym, so that's 1 piece of the puzzle. He still needs a Hypnotoxic Laser. We did see him spend a lot of lasers earlier in the game. I mean, he even did a double laser last turn because he wanted to Juniper. So I don't even know if he's got any left in his deck, and if he does, it obviously can't be very many.
At this point, you have to think as well, his deck size may be pretty low. So even though he has that Professor Juniper, he may not be able to play it because he may deck out and lose the game that way. So we do just see the Y Cyclone for 110 damage. Can Ishaan win the game this turn?
Ishaan's doing the math. You can see the fingers start rolling. That means that he's trying to figure out if he's got the game here. And he does. He knocks out the Evil Tall EX that takes his final prize, and that is the end of the game. Ishaan Jagiasi is the 2014 United States National Champion in the senior division. Congratulations to Ishaan.
And what an incredible story. This kid, he was extremely nervous heading out of that stage, but he kept his composure, played extremely well with this unusual deck. Empoleon, Miltank, and Dusknoir. If you would have told me this was going to win the national championships before the weekend, I probably would have laughed.
Yeah, you probably would have knowing you. However, Ishaan proved us all wrong. Ishaan brought the Empoleon deck, which none of us expected to see do well, and here it is, giving him the national championship.
Absolutely. He just showed why Empoleon is so powerful, especially with that Miltank. 2 cards that seem just kind of like cute Pokemon that we wouldn't use very often, but no, these things dish out tons of damage, these non-EX Pokemon, showing us that you don't need those 170, 100 HP Pokemon EX to win the big one.
Yeah, he proved everybody wrong, and I mean, no better stage to do it than the national championships unless you're at the world championships, which he will be at now, thanks to his extremely good performance here.
Absolutely, and let's not forget Jeremiah. He played extremely well. 2nd place finish is nothing to be sad about. He, of course, will be invited to the World Championships as well. Great performance for both of these players. Definitely both deserve a round of applause after that one.
Absolutely, they definitely do. Both brought strong decks with them. One was a little unexpected. The other one was very expected. However, they both performed extremely well. This time, the Empoleon deck won, and I mean, 2nd place, you've been there before, right?
Couple times, yeah. Ishaan was telling me, he thought he wanted to prove to people that Empoleon is not just some silly deck. It is extremely strong with Miltank, with Dusknoir, and he proved it to everybody by winning the U.S. National Championship. And if you want to prove a point, that's one way to do it.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So it looks like we're going to be doing a prize presentation extremely soon. So I'm excited to see how Ishaan feels when he's finally got the trophy in his hand, and I'm sure it's going to sink in at that point.
All right, looks like we're heading up to the stage for the trophies.
He needed an army of penguins, ghosts, cows, and some powerful friends. But through 3 games, I present to you guys the senior national champion, Ishaan Jagiasi. Congratulations. Hold it up. Good stuff.
Thanks a lot, Josh. that was Ishaan Jagiasi holding up his trophy. He's finally earned the right to take that trophy and hold it up in the air like he just did. I'm excited to get an interview with him soon so we can actually get to hear him talk about his cool deck that won him the championship.
Absolutely, and we'll have to see how this impacts the World Championships. Now Empoleon's on the map. People got to watch out for that.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to be going to a break right now, and we'll be coming right back with the interview as soon as we can. All right, welcome back, guys. I am host Wade Crimson-Rohana here with Ishaan Jagiasi, your 2014 United States Pokemon Trading Card Game National Champion in the Senior Division. Congratulations, Ishaan.
Thank you.
All right, Ishaan, I have to ask you a few questions because they're really bugging me right now. Question 1, Empoleon, why did you pick it?
Well, I didn't really like this format coming in, and I'm still not a big fan of it. I didn't like Plasma, I didn't like Yveltal, and I didn't like Virizion Genesect. None of those were like really appealing to me. And then this was actually 2 days ago. It was we were actually my good friend Colin and I. We were looking through his boxes trying to like find cards for like Pyro or Ninetales, and then we come across Empoleon. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play this.
Well, it obviously ended up doing pretty well for you. Now, were you already qualified for the World Championships coming into the Nationals?
I was. I think I had like 505 points.
Oh man, so you're right. The pressure was off. You just wanted to play a good fun deck that was going to entertain you for 3 days, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so now you're going to the World Championships. Do you feel like Empoleon's a pretty good play for the World Championships?
You know, I don't know. I think Max Potion can really hurt the deck because with Dusknoir, you have to like the turn that I did where I didn't use Sinister Hand, so I kept the 80 on the Darkrai.
Mm-hmm.
If he could have like pulled off some weird Max Potion play that turn and set it up again, I would have like almost lost the game because Empoleon really relies on the Dusknoir itself.
Yeah, I mean, I love how you have so much insight into this game. Like you truly do understand the game at a very deep level, and I'm excited to see you join the Masters Division soon. And
Thank you.
I mean, you never know, man. I'd like to see big things come from you, man. Okay, I have one more question for you, and it's not really much of a question. I actually want to see who helped you play test. Shout out your friends.
Okay, well, my good friend Colin Coyle was one of the main people who helped me play test. Dylan Dreyer, Jason Kozinski, and I know I'm going to forget a lot of people. Henry Ross Clunas, I'm forgetting a lot of people, but that's mainly the main people right now.
Well, don't worry about that. I'm happy for you, and I'm sure your friends are happy for you. I don't think they're going to get too mad at you. So congratulations once again, man. I'm excited to see how you do at Worlds.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. We're now going to be taking a break before we enter the National Championship Master Division Finals. That's going to be the last of the trading card game finals, and we're going to have Michael Pramawat going up against Brandon Salazar. So stay tuned, guys.